Hey, what's going on, guys? I don't know how the volume is going to be because I'm using my girlfriend's camera and I don't know what their volume levels are compared to my camera. Even though our cameras are similar, hers is a much, like, 2 or 3 years newer version of mine. And we're shooting in 4K, not because it's going to be a new default, but I want to see how shooting 4K is like and how my old computer that I'm getting rid of within the next, hopefully, month or so, how it really fares with 4K. So I have something to compare it to with 4K editing when I get a new computer. But she left her camera here, so it's going to be in 4K, and I don't know about volume, so yeah. Take that with a grain of salt. Anywho, we're going to be talking about Pot of Desires. And the reason we're going to talk about this is even though I already probably talked about this before, and I haven't really made a discussion video in a while, so I thought I would talk about it because it's a topic that I still see people debate. People post a card of it on Zodiac or something, there's still a lot of people like, dude, it's meta, it's staple, and there's still the people like, no, it's not, it's fucking retarded. So, yeah, we're going to talk about it. And it's not going to be a long talk, but we're going to talk. And my thoughts on it right away is, I think it is a staple.
Nah, nigga. I have seen some shit now.
I do not, and I will repeat, I do not, I think the cost is still too high. They should have had they should have had Banish 5, honestly. Because then, for 2 cards, you're banishing 10 cards from your deck. I feel like that's a more playable thing. Or even maybe mill 5, banish 5. I feel like that would be a better of effect for each card. So yeah. So each time you use Pot of Desires, banish 5. Mill 5 off, then banish 5. Or vice versa. It doesn't matter. But obviously, it doesn't matter. Card's out. It's not going to change. Unless it gets eroded 10 fucking years from now. But the card to me is staple because, yes, there's definitely a high cost to it, but the speed you get from it, basically the fact the card's a Pot of Greed without taking it out, can decide a game. That is pretty much the point of the deck, because those 2 cards can decide a game. Well, yes, it is a gamble. If your deck is decent enough, especially in meta decks now, playing a Pot of Desires will eliminate that, not eliminate, it will maybe eliminate the time gap. Yeah, you might get rid of a bunch of cards, but in today's game, there isn't like that, or most decks anyways, don't have that one card. It's like, oh man, I lost these cards, now I can't play, there's no way I can win. It's not really like that anymore. And, I mean, yes, you could definitely get a bad banish, like you just banished all your monsters away and all you have left is spells and traps. But, it's not, like I said, it's not really how the game is now, but it can happen. Though, altogether, I think it is meta. I think the card definitely has a place in the game, and it definitely, it's definitely not the best draw card either, but for right now, and say the game that we're at, the speed over the cost is still way on. I was playing Battle and Boxers, and I've been testing it more, and by no means am I saying this is meta, but I changed the deck around a little bit because it didn't really work with Pot of Desires with my monster count, so I changed the monster count in the lineup a little bit, and Pot of Desires has won me games. Like I said, it's still hit and miss. The deck is not going to do great, but we're not talking about the deck specifically. It's helping this deck that's always had a problem with draw power and consistency because they took away my Rhodas. I'm only have 1 Rhoda in it, and well, I haven't even played it much lately either. But now I have draw power, which was always another problem with the deck because there wasn't any more great generic draw powers. Yeah, we had Pod Duality, but it's a deck that special summons, and there's a lot of decks like that now. I mean, not many decks rely on just normal summons. So Pod Duality really prevents most decks from having the speed that it needs because you have to wait a turn. And it's still a 1-for-1 with Pot of Duality, while this, it's basically a Pot of Greed with a cost. And that cost is altogether a gamble, but it's also a necessary cost. It's like a necessary evil. It's needed for the game. So, once again, while I would prefer of a better draw card or a better cost, yes. But for my thoughts on it, not that anybody was asking, but people said they subscribe to my channel to hear my thoughts on things sometimes, and how I talk about cards. I think Pot of Desires is definitely a staple and is needed in the game so we can actually have some draw power, and like I already stated, yes, overpowered decks will have the draw power too, but I feel like it's going to give the little guys a little bit more consistency or something to have a little bit more power up with a cost. Still a gamble with a cost. That's always the thing, the cost, because it's a big cost. But there's ways around it. So, yeah. That's really all I have to say about Pot of Desires. Let me know down below what you think about the card. Do you think it's really not a staple? Do you think it doesn't have a place in the game? Let me know down below. I'll see you later, guys. Peace out. Bruh.
Damn.